Hello, Batman. Yes, I am watching True Recess. So, remember how I said, it's the fine. The teachers and my videos. Yep, I did that. Oh, there we go. I did add some people as well in there. I did add Miss. I'm gonna get to it. From the first district, we have Kalia Artifact Jarrett. Kalia all started from Jarrett. That's cool. We also had my college and some high school district we would get to. High school we also be in the second district, third district in middle school, and then the fourth district. Part middle school, and some of the future, and then the staff members. In Korea, over here we have Miss Cynthia, we have Miss CJ, Miss CJ, Miss Cynthia, and Miss CJ works on musical. Miss Jai was he was an ensemble. Mr. Denton too helps Kulia and helps with musical. And also does so in this YouTube video. Mr. Bean, who was a robot teacher. I won the leadership from him. Miss Matt was our site coordinator in not in 7th grade for Kulia. The other two was Miss CJ. Mr. Edrell was the photography, and Mr. Nikita was our sport teacher. I think was it 7th grade or 8th grade? 6th grade. It was both. And now I'm getting to my college teacher at Mr. Frank or Mr. Yakotis in line in Politico. He does Hawaiian studies. We also have Miss Shin in the English language or English. Yes, I am tired. Mr. Tadataka Sensei does Japanese. That mine right now I'm 3, so and then I'm into my high school teacher. This is my freshman year. At my first freshman year, I had Mr. William for Washington and another thing. Not US history, but he was my social teacher. Mr. Young was my algebra teacher. And was training in high school and helped and with English art. Mr. English was my piano teacher. Mrs. Noble was my science teacher my sophomore year, second semester, not first semester because of COVID. We had Mr. Yamagaki. This was US history. And then Mr. Rexford does English language. Miss Who, because this was supposed to be my German you'll see later on. But then I need a full year of German. It didn't count. So I did East School in her room. Then we had Miss Thorne, Natural Resources. Mr. Ida, who I didn't see went into the room by accident. And I know it was like an E12. Maybe we don't get there. He does computer science and math. During my science class, Mr. Chef, if I was like biology. Then we had geometry, Mr. Hill. Which is do not do a wall longer than 5. But I think since it's Nike, it needs to be a big store. And I'm sorry if my mouse is going like all over the place today. Look at that. Roblox actually sent me a mouse, guys, and it's so sensitive. Like I love it, but I'm not used to it yet. Okay, this makes me look like such a noob builder, just building a massive square. But
trust me, we're about to add the detail in with basic shape. So I'm a humongous fan of this design of the dinosaur on screen. I'm going to try and recreate that to the best of my abilities. I reckon that's good. And as you can see, it's a bunch of squares next to each other, but there's kind of like a slight gap.
And we had geometry, Mr. Hill.
A basic shape.
And road history. And Miss Cat. And Mr. Amala. Miss Cat was my first semester in history. Road history. And Mr. Amala was my second year's in road history.
And sometimes I build the exterior before the video, but I thought since this is kind of a smaller build, we can do it together. Then you can just follow my little tutorial. And I'm so excited.
And Miss Nasser was Mr. Chef was my science class. And Mr. Noshi up there. Mr. Noshi for freshman year, all the way to senior year. And Mr. Chef was my for sophomore and senior. He was my physics teacher and my biology teacher. And Miss Nasser was my English teacher for junior year and senior year. And then my German teacher, Mr. Rogers. And my math teacher, Mr. Matsumura, who was, I think, Algebra 2. Miss Mia was Chemistry. Miss Galactaso was General Art. Miss Cat was Intro to College, right? And then we had Mr. Matsui, who did Economics and Psychology. And Mr. Lisa was also there because I saw at my senior year. Yeah, he came in during my senior year. I had him for half. We'll get there. Middle school now teachers. And Mr. Denoy, that is Matt. Miss Larson, who needs studies. Mr. Elion, who was my homeroom teacher. And my language art teacher for the first semester. Yeah, he was my homeroom teacher for the first semester. Miss Erickson, who was my PE teacher. My hand is blocking the view. Mr. Edwards, who was my health teacher and my elective teacher for senior year. Miss Young was, I think, grade writing. Mr. Lim, who I had one 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. What creative design, Miss Arian, who I had engineering design process and science. And Miss Aguilar was my second semester homeroom. And then Dr. Art is our health teacher, but he's also the band director. Mrs. Saka was our social studies, my 7th grade. And Miss Erison, I did have her every year as well. Saka was my social studies. Miss Chun was my math teacher in 7th grade, but also my leadership teacher in 8th grade. Even though we didn't have her kind of like a little while, and then the art stroke, we had a different. Yeah. Then we had Mr. Abe, our language art teacher. Then we had Mr. Tamashiro, elective. Mr. Grant, also elective. And on to my 8th grade year. And Mr. Stripe was language art. English language art. Mr. Golden was socialized. Miss Parson. And Miss Yoshi was also the engineering design process there as well. And Miss Larson. Miss Larson also was my art teacher as well. And Miss Parson was math teacher for 8th grade. And of course, Mr. Lee was my elective. Miss Yarza was my engineering design process teacher, but also my science teacher. And we get into here. Miss Nebrega, who was my counselor. Dr. Kuba was my principal for 8th middle school. But
Like, they're both going the same way, he says. I'm sorry, okay?
Dr. Bill was my principal for second and third grade from elementary school, but in my middle school as well. Uncle Benj was our security. And Mr. Pun, who was like our not 8th grade avid, I think it was 8th grade avid.
This is kind of like one of those hypnotizing videos, isn't it? Watch the black spot for 5 minutes and you will turn into a donkey.
Yeah, it was 8th grade avid. We have Mr. Ivan, who was my behavior specialist. You'll see a couple more later. Miss Pun, who was not in the 6th grade, was the 7th grade counselor, average. And Henry Guzman, who I found on Twitter, who actually went to my middle school in 6th grade after I graduated. Then we had Mr. Otani, who a lot of you guys actually graduated from Kalani, like Mr. Samia, my English, my piano teacher, Mr. Noshi. Dr. Scribble is the classmate of my dad. Mr. Otani also graduated from Kalani in 1970, who was a classmate of my uncle. And then we had Coach Tracer, who I met this in my senior year at Food Fest. Miss Fernandez and Miss Pond. Both of them were my behaviors. So that's from high school. Miss Nessa Sonia was my vice principal, yes. There was 4 different vice principals, one for each grade. You're right there. And Mr. Uitake, who was my vice principal for middle school. Oh, yes, and there is events, so might happen, they might not. So and the tribute stand on their horns. And the tribute stand on their podium, the horns sound Missy on the find the back of food. By the way, this is based on what I say because these are my teachers, so Missy on find the bed of backpack food, Miss Arian runs away. Miss Nestle, Miss Nestle up on rag. Mr. Chef runs away. Miss Chang, Rebecca, and retreats. Dr. R, Mr. Lim, and Mr. Yago Odichi get into a fight. Mr. Yadachi truly primacy kills them both. Miss J runs away. Miss Press Rep, Miss Massimo, and Miss Aguilar work together to get many supplies. By the way, there is 68 characters in here, so that's a lot. Miss Yarsa runs away. Miss Shin touches the first aid kit and runs. Mr. Ennis runs away. Mr. runs away with Larens. Mr. Edward runs away with Larens some rope. Mr. Pond runs away from Miss Marson gathered much fun behind. Mr. Allen runs into Miss Jordan. Rabbi Sword, Mr. Yin runs away. Mr. Kayaka runs away from Larens some rope. Miss Sun stays at Cornucopia. Mr. Roger, Miss Cynthia, Mr. Hill, and Miss Dorina from a suing slime pat, killing themselves. Oof. Mr. Kamashiro runs away. Mr. Ija Mr. again. Miss Grant runs away. Miss Khan runs away. Mr. Tuitaki runs away. Coach Racer runs away. Miss Sue runs away. Miss Yosu grabs her sword. Miss Nasser from property resources. Mr. Ed runs away. Mr. Otani runs away. Mr. Shrite runs away. Umpabet runs away. Mr. Lee 1 kills Miss Spawn for her own weapon. Mr. Lee takes 6 weapons. Mr. Yamagashi grab a backpack and retreat. Miss Asaka. Miss Asaka snaps a pair of size. Henry goes run away. Miss Yamcha grabbed a jar of fishing bait while Mr. Denton did fishing. Mr. Mr. Ivan runs away. Mr. Sumiya kills Mr. Lee with his own weapon. Mr. Lee unconscious the first aid kit and runs away. Miss Larson finds the bed full of it. Mr. Robert retrieves it right. And Mr. Yamala convinces Mr. Dunaway to not kill him. To not kill him, only to kill him instead. Miss Harrison runs away with Lion's rope. Mr. Nobu, Miss Matz, and Mr. Matsui work together to get as many. Miss CJ drives Miss Bond runs away, Dr. Gumbo runs away, Mr. Anderson sees Mr. Young away, Mr. Rowan runs away, and Miss Cat Judge as much food as he can. That wasn't even blood bet. No, this is day one. Miss Ratchet shooting an arrow at Mr. Otani, but misses and killed Miss Barson. Mr. Young thinks about home. Mr. Mother receives an action from sponsor. Miss Nestor goes hunting. Dr. Kuma, Coach Racer, Mr. Young, Miss Chun, and Miss Young Chang unfair tribute. Mr. Sumiya sees smoke rising in the system and decided that Mr. Coffee forces Miss Cat and kill Miss to kill Miss Yasu or Miss Masamura. She refuses, so Mr. Coffee kill her instead. Miss Harrison, Miss Larson, Mr. Denton, Mr. William, and Ultimate went to Disney World. That one of the things there I made went to Disney World. There might be another one, you don't know. Mr. Ivan received fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Mr. Albert, Miss Young, Mr. Ida, Miss Jane, Rain, Miss Scott also camp while she is hunting. Miss Arian kills Henry goes with his own weapon. Why is everyone killing people with his own weapon? Mr. Commissioner and Mr. Edo play Minecraft. That's another one I made, play Minecraft. Miss Aguilar let fruit from the tree. Miss Nelson only Miss Yes, you're so Mr. Right under tribute. Mr. Kalekaspo received clean water from a sponsor. Miss Salsa canisters lost into a bush. Mr. Shinobu and Mr. Otani split up resources. Not Mr. Onishi split up resources. Mr. Chef, Mr. Miss Joy, Miss Fernandez stuck in the distant. Miss Khan discovered rumor. Mr. Lee one pit flower. Miss Dorn makes a slingshot. Miss Matt Lawrence was forced. Mr. Pond designate a landmine on front. Mr. Nikito severely injured Miss Jin, but put her out. Mr. Sue disappeared delivered. Mr. Nolan collect fruits from Mr. Green. Mr. Grant scared Mr. Edgar off. Mr. Gamagashi, Mr. Main, and Miss CJ under. Mr. Masui scrambled Miss Gold ditch after draining the fist and Miss Pond discovered the river. 15 cannons shot me from the distance. 15 in the first 2 days. Wow. We didn't even get night yet. The blood bet day 1. Dr. R, Mr. Lim, Mr. Roger, Miss Cynthia, Mr. Hill, Miss Labrega, Miss Fawn, Mr. Lee, Mr. Dunaway, Miss Parson, Miss Cat, Henry Guzman, Mr. Pond, Mission, Mr. Godshit. Night 1, Mr. Denton wrote my nightmare. Mr. Lee received clean water from the sponsor. Mr. Snowball, Miss Fernandez, Mr. Kalekaspo, and Mr. Edward Telly Sutter Jones. And Miss William cooked his food up before putting out. This is night 1, by the way. Before his putting out his fire, Mr. Otani loses sight where he is. Coach Racer thinks about winning. Miss Set, Miss Sue set up camp for the night. Mr. Ivan tends to miss a soccer run. Mr. Al Young bashed Miss Matt's head with a mace. And in with a mace. Miss CJ and Miss Pumps is another with her. Miss Drive and Mr. Main, Miss Westbrook, and Mr. Young away from her fire. Mr. Matsui, Mr. Gold, Mr. Grant, Mr. Amada tell each other goes already to like the moon. Mr. Kalekaspo, Dr. Kuba, and Mr. Naida, Mr. Former Suicide Cat killing himself. No. Uncle Ben loses sight where he is. Miss Young Shang defeat Mr. Tamashiro in the fight by spare his life. Mr. Erno in the road from the nightmare. Miss Nolan receiving a explosion from an unknown sponsor. Miss Young attempts to fire but is on the cessel. Miss Shang destroyed. Mr. Uli talking to fly while she is asleep. Miss Arian uses light. Miss Con receiving fresh food. Mr. E, we don't know the sponsor. Mr. Ida enrolled my nightmare. Mr. Onishi is drowned. Mr. Yarsa with a rope. Miss Larson tried herself to sleep. Miss Harrison, Mr. Not Sony, and Mr. Session can shift. Miss Masamura, Miss Aguilar, and Mr. Yamagaki discussed the game after the morning. Miss Chan and Mr. Fight. Fight Miss Nash and Mr. Abe. Miss Chan and Miss Chan and Mr. Strike survived. Mr. Smee and Rose in the night there. Day 2 in the 100 game. Mr. Taliaso fishes. Miss Larson stopped Miss Fernandez. Miss Erickson searched for firewood. Miss Masanui searched for fireworks. Mr. Golden attempts to climb a tree but falls to his death. Mr. Grant, Mr. Eltoni, Miss Aguilar, Miss Nassau, and Mr. Matsui went to Disneyland. Miss Irian fished. Miss Onishi injured himself. Mr. William discovered the river. Mr. Uitali forced Mr. Denton to kill Mr. Chai or Miss Chai. He decides to kill Miss Chai. Mr. Yamagaki sees smoke rising in the cement side 1988. Colt straight from Misu's resources. Mr. Arrow died from hypothermia. Mr. Ayan goes hunting. Miss Chang crashed the country. Miss Young Chen receives fresh food, another sponsor. Miss Pond, Miss Fresh brought Mr. Samigo, Mr. Bing, Miss Young, and Miss Rabbit to Disneyland, that the one I made. Miss EJ received a flash solstice from Arnold sponsor. Miss Lord, Mr. Tomashiro, Mr. Chef, Uncle Ben, and Mr. Edo enter tribute. Miss Kwan begged for Mr. Lee wanted to kill her. He refuses, keeping Miss Kwan alive. Mr. Samigo practices his archery. Mr. Edo's aired Miss Chen off. Mr. Amala made one spear. Mr. Young exploded and Mrs. Alpha died from hypothermia. 12 Chen sent me for this in Miss Matt, Miss Scully Castle, Dr. Fuma, Mr. Naida, Miss Chia, Miss Yurtsa, Miss Nasser, Mr. Abe, Mr. Golden, Miss Shai, Mr. Edward, and Miss Asaka. I'm gonna put you right here. Right in front of his face. There we go. And we still have a lot left, but I'm limited. I love that song. By the way, in Korean high school, we have Miss EJ left, Mr. Denton, Mr. Main, Mr. Edo, Mr. Kalikaso, and all my freshman teachers are still there. High school, almost a lot, actually. Maybe if we do a couple more, maybe that will work. It should work now, unless there's an event that should. Mr. William, night 2 in the other day. Mr. William throws a knife into Colt Tracer's head. Miss Young destroyed Mr. Ida's supply while he is asleep. Mr. Sonobu receives a hat from the sponsor. Mr. Kagasu falls into the frozen lake and drowned. Woof! That involves my last college teacher. Miss Aguilar and Mr. Alyon run into each other and decides to let me. Mr. Otani at night time. Mr. Strike received a hatchet from a Hono sponsor. Mr. Dean goes to sleep. Mr. Amala passes out from his lesson. Mr. Yamagaki and Miss Erin talk about their tribute still alive. Mr. Sumiya convinces Miss to know him. Miss Khan stays away all night. Miss Emerson sees a fire but stays hidden. Mr. Adult convinces Mr. Nonishi to still know with him. So Miss Jai was also my piano teacher in middle school. Miss Chen, Miss Pong sleep and shift. Mr. Denson tried to see himself in sleep. Mr. Ivan, Mr. Masamura, Miss Rexbot, and Mr. Grant sleep and shift. Miss Young Shang defeat Miss CJ in the fight by spare her life. Miss Nelson Tony the severely injured Miss Doran and Lee Worship die. Miss Larson shouldn't her on bed but missed and killed Mr. Lee one instead. Mr. Chef attempted to start a fire but on his desk. Mr. Thomas Shiro tried himself to sleep. Miss Chang, Miss Fernandez, and Mr. Young start fighting, but Mr. Fernandez run away as Miss Chang kills Mr. Young. Mr. Urikashi food before pulling this out, and Mr. Matsui start a fire. Day 3, this is day 3. Mr. Matsumura worked there for a day. Mr. Otani begged for Miss Erison to kill him. She refused and keep Mr. Otani alive. Mr. Denton picked flowers. Miss Con overheard Miss CJ and Mr. Ida talking to distant. Miss Fernandez and Miss John unfair tribute. Uncle Ben attacked Mrs. Westbrook, but she managed to escape. Mr. Kamishiro and Mr. Yamagaki went down to drown Mr. Allion. Mr. Uitaki discovered the cave. Mr. Sumiya chases Mr. Chef. Mr. Hamada runs away from Mrs. Young. Mr. Edo, Miss Shane, Mr. Grant, Mr. Ming, and Miss Erin doing Disneyland. Mr. Shinobu making one spear. Mr. Trite Chef Gerard Hood. Mr. Matsui. Mr. Miki, Mr. Ivan, Miss Young Shane, uncharted shoot. Miss Arson, Mr. William, Miss Nasoni, Miss Palm, Raiden, Miss Aguilar, Camp L. She is hunting. 6 stands up behind this Coach Racer, Mr. Kayake, Go, Miss Doran, Mr. Lee 1, Mr. Young, and Mr. Al Young. Night 3, Mr. Ashbert just read Mr. Denton as well. She is asleep. He is asleep. Mr. Ivan unable to start the fighter. Now, warned Mr. 93, by the way. Mr. Chef, Mr. Yamagaki is asleep. Stunned with him. Mr. E just started a fire. Mr. Mean stayed up all night. Miss Young Shane, Mr. Tamashiro, and Miss Young. Seriously saying something here. Miss Fawn, Miss Nasoni, and Mr. Sonobu was sleeping shift. Miss Stein defeat Mr. Sumiya and the fight was great as ice. Mr. Otani unknowingly eat toxic berry. Mr. Matsui defeat Mr. Amala in the fight but for his life. Miss Palm received fresh from an unknown sponsor. Miss Larson suicide where she is. Miss Irian writing on Miss Matsumura and Uncle Ben play Roblox. Another one I made. Yeah, I mean play Roblox 1. Miss Fernandez, Miss Aguilar, Miss EJ, and Miss Erison sleep in shift. Mr. Wright, Miss John, Mr. Uetake, Mr. Nishi, and Mr. Williams sleep in shift. Mr. Edo at night time, Mr. Grant to the site where she and Miss Sue receiving water from unknown sponsor. Day 4. Mr. Wright, Miss Larson, Uncle Ben, Mr. Shinobu, and Miss Untrevy Tribute. Mr. Chef attacked Miss Shun, but he managed to escape. Miss Erison killed Miss Matsumura. As she tried to run, Miss Natsuni searched for firewood. Mr. Ming tried to follow himself and hid Mr. Grant grabbed underground. Mr. William, Miss Palm, Miss Youngshine, and Mr. Denton shot down and killed Miss Aguilar. No wait, never mind. Miss Palm is actually the only middle school teacher in here, and Denton, but Denton more of a staff. Mr. Edward travels to ladder down. Mr. Mead is taking fruit from an unknown tree. Mr. Amala steals from Mr. Ivan. No, he isn't looking. They're the same guy. Miss Shane search for water sources. Mr. Madison is drinking clean water from the sun. Miss CJ injured himself. Miss Russell, Miss Khan, and Miss Young get into a fight. Miss Young currently kills them both. Mr. Yamagashi untrapped two. Mr. Tamashiro and Mr. Uetate split up to search for resources. Mr. Onishi is hurt by Thornwell picking berry. Mr. Ida defeats Miss Erie in the fight with her knife. Miss Fernandez practices archery. 5 can shut me for Mr. Otani, Miss Matsumura, Miss Aguilar, Miss Freshbrook, and Miss Khan. So right now for Tulia College and Tyson, we have Miss CJ, Mr. Denson, Mr. Main, Mr. Edro, Mr. William, Miss Shane, Miss Youngshine, Mr. Nishi, and Mr. Shinobu. High school, we have Mr. Yamagachi, Miss Sue, Mr. Ida, Mr. Chef, Mr. Amala, Miss Mia, and Mr. Matsui. Middle school, we have Miss Larson, Miss Harrison, Miss Young, Miss Arian, Miss Chun, Mr. Tamashiro, and Mr. Shrite. And for staff, we have Uncle Ben, Mr. Ivan, Miss Pum, and Miss Fernandez, Miss Natsone, and Mr. Uitate. Night 4, Miss Ichi, Miss Natsone, Mr. Matsui discussed game of after in the morning. Mr. Uitate poisoned Uncle Ben drink. He drinks it and died. Miss Shane and Mr. Ivan played Roblox. Mr. Ida tried to sling himself asleep. Mr. Drent received a hatchet from Mr. Smia, Miss Larson, Miss Erie, and Cheerfing sleep sound. Mr. Denton found himself asleep. Miss Pond, Mr. Amala, Mr. Yamagashi fiercely seeing son, Miss Susan for help, Mr. Chef,
And yes, I'm gonna add a sync
Mr. Tamashiro, and Mr. Strike discuss the game what happened in the morning.
no, let's see.
Oh yeah, and the staff also. I think Mr. Strike is in the. No, he's in high school, no middle school. Mr. Shinobu rather than the hush. Mr. William fed Mr. Main, Miss Harrison, and Miss Young Chang with fire. Mr. Edo looked at the night sky. Miss Fernandez received a hatch. Blah blah blah. From unknown sponsor. Miss Young checked question for his sanity. Mr. Onishi received metal supply from an unknown sponsor. Miss Chen tended to her rooms, and that was about it for night 4. Really not much stats there. Day 5 is her stretch from water from unknown. Miss Jane throws in a knife into Miss Yunshine's chest. Miss Erson is hit by Thorn. Miss Sue turned away ankle away, running away from Mr. Talking Miss John thinks Miss Larson from killing her. Marietta search for water flush. Mr. Suya bashed Mr. Ida evidence erupts behind science and science. Mr. William and Mr. Grant took the first resources. Miss EJ makes slingshot. Mr. Tomashiro and Mr. Yamagashi played Roblox. Miss Irian tried to speak her fish her giant. Mr. Amala, Mr. Ming, Miss Fernandez, and Mr. Ivan Hunter retrieved. Mr. Denton injured himself. Miss Young sprang his ankle away, or ankle rile, running away from Mr. Jefferson. Sunumila falls into the frozen lake and drowned. Mr. Onishi received a hat from him. Miss Natsu only injured himself, and Miss Palms run away from Mr. Matsui. 5 candles up for this, Mr. Uncle Ben, Miss Yonshane, Miss Arson, Mr. Ida, and Miss Nobu. Night 5. Miss Sue and Miss Yon tracked down and killed Mr. Sumiya. Miss Shane, Miss Natsuoni, Miss Pond, and Miss Fernandez tell each other draw story can like move out in that brush. It is at nighttime. Mr. Chef stays away all night. Miss EJ and Mr. Matsui tell these stories about themselves and each other. Mr. Utani and Mr. Nochi tell them stories about themselves to each other. Miss Erison received meal supply on one sponsor. Mr. Chan loses state where he is. Mr. Yomi received an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Mr. Edo stay up all night. Mr. Venture narrowed to Mr. Ming Ed. Mr. Denton destroyed Mr. Slight. Despite while she is asleep. Miss Arian, Mr. Yamagashi, Mr. Ivan, and Mr. Tamashiro tell the story to those and Mr. Amala at the night sky. They sit Miss Nasoni and Mr. Darren played Minecraft. Miss Fernandez intends Mr. William Rowan, Mr. Strike questioned insanity. Mr. Edwin, Miss Arian played Roblox. Mr. Tamashiro's search for water source. Same at Mr. Chef, searching for water source. Miss EJ discovers a cave. Miss Young chases Miss Sue. Miss Harrison and Mr. Matsumi worked together and to drown Mr. Ivan, Mr. Onishi, Mr. Yamagashi, Mr. Uetake, Miss Chun, Mr. Amala, and Mr. Denton went to Disneyland. Miss Pond and Miss Chang played Roblox. They're literally the exact same thing. 3 times from each from this and Mr. Sumiya, Mr. Ming, and Mr. Ivan. Night 6. Mr. Denton tried himself to sleep. Miss Harrison killed Miss Natsumi while she is asleep. Mr. Yamagashi bashed Mr. Chef in the maze. Mr. Tomashiro's selfness was in killing Miss Fernandez, Mr. Uetake, Mr. Eno, and Mr. Amala. Miss CJ goes to sleep. Miss Aaron attempted to revive by the successful. Miss Young tried to self-sleep. Miss Spun started a fire. Mr. William and Miss Sue played Minecraft. Miss Chain tended to Mr. Matsui ruin Miss Chun and her fire but is unsuccessful. Mr. Strike kills Mr. Grant while she is asleep. He is sleeping. Mr. Onishi climbed a tree to us. The feast is decided. The cornucopia. We are finished with food supply, weapon, and memoir contribute. Mr. Onishi decided not to place. Mr. Good did the same thing, say with this chain. Huh. Good. Miss CJ throws a knife into Mr. Thomas Sherrill's head. Miss One decided not to go to the streets. Mr. William tracked down and killed Miss One. Mr. Denton also decided not to aim at Miss Harrison. Miss Young set Mr. Matsui on the fire at the motor. Mr. Wright decided destroyed Miss Susie member out of spite. Miss Ian falls into a pit and dies. Day 7. Miss Harrison staying away while running away from Mr. Onishi. Miss Pond discovers the river. Miss Young and Mr. Denton play Minecraft. Mr. Yamagashi acted he stepped on the landmine. Mr. William throws a knife into Mr. Wright's head. Miss Sue set off Miss William, killing Miss Shane, and Miss CJ received Miss Wilson unknown sponsor. 14 cannon shot me from the distance. Miss Natsumi, Mr. Chef, Miss Verdanis, Mr. Uita, Mr. Edo, Mr. Amala, Mr. Grant, Miss Tomashiro, Miss Chun, Mr. Matsui, Miss Ian, Mr. Yamagashi, Mr. Straight, Miss Shane. We shouldn't have much left. So, Kulia College, we have Miss CJ, Mr. Denton, Mr. William, and Mr. Onishi. Whoa, not much. That 1, 2, 3, 4 people in that. There are only 4 people left there. In high school, the only thing we have here is Miss Sue. The only thing left. In middles, we have Miss Harrison, Miss Young. We only have 2 there. 4, 1 plus 2. 4 plus 1 is 5. Plus 2 is 7. And staff, we have Miss Pond. That's 6. No, that's 8. We only have 8 people left. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6, 7. 8. Yeah, we only have 8 people left. Wow. Night 7. Miss Pond kills Miss Young. Rabbit or own friend. Oh, no, that makes them 7 now. Miss Onishi and Miss CJ talk about tribute still alive. This is night 7. Miss Harrison slept camp for a night. And Mr. Denton, Miss Sue, and Mr. Williams cheerfully sing song. Day 8. Mr. and Miss Plum forces Mr. Denton to kill Mr. William or Miss Sue. He decided to kill Miss Sue. So now that's 6 now. Day 8. Miss Harrison tends to Miss CJ room, and Mr. Onishi received fresh food from unknown sponsor. 2 cans of for this, Miss Young and Miss Sue. Night 8. Mr. Denton acting he slept in the night. Now that's 5 now. Miss Plum crashing her insanity. Miss CJ assumed for help. Mr. William tends to his room. Miss Harrison trap kills Mr. Onishi. So that 5. Now that's me 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa! Miss Harrison unknown. This is day 9. Miss Harrison unknown. He tosses Berry. Miss Pond trap kills Mr. William, and Miss CJ died during the scene. That means the winner is Miss Pond. 5 times from each tradition. Mr. Denton, Mr. Onishi, Miss Harrison, Mr. William, and Miss CJ. That means the winner is Miss Pond from staff. I don't even know it. Not me staff. It probably high school, right? Yeah, it has to be high school. But there is 4. It's not me staff. It's not me Korea. It can't be middle. It has to be high school then. The urine event I was talking about was the Thanos net. These people that killed. Well, Mr. Tomashiro got 5 killed. Mr. William, Miss Erickson, and Miss Young all had 4 kills. Mr. Denton, Miss Chun, Miss Pond, and Mr. Straight all had 3. Mr. Smee and Mr. Ueta, Go Ditch, Mr. Chang, and Mr. Yamadachi, Miss Sue, and Miss Matsui all had 2. Mr. Grant, Miss Natsumi, Miss CJ, Mr. Lee 1, Miss Larson, Miss Erie, Miss Raya, and Miss Westbrook, Mr. Lee, and Miss Young Chen, and Mr. Missy all at 1. You can hear, I'm listening to look down. Miss Harrison is just weird. Yeah. This really she does Miss Page. So yeah. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share.